Hey guys, welcome to your December 2022 predictive video. This is going to be a wild month. It's going to be a brilliant time, I would say, to start building abundance and new understandings, new knowledge, friendships, and opportunities for ourselves. And of course, I don't think this Sagittarius season is going to be easy, but it's going to be brilliant. I mean, we have one of the most magnificent conjunctions that we'll never see again in our lives. So we need to look at what is coming through the ethers into our lives and dawning a new day towards our future. And this is within our personal lives and within the collective. And I think that's why also friendships and the communities and all this is going to start coming up. It's going to start percolating. There's a lot of change towards the future, and that is Sagittarius season, right? We enter this month, December 1st, we're under the Sagittarius new moon influence, which happened on the 23rd of November, which Jupiter, its ruling planet, came direct as well. It was just 5 minutes afterwards. So this was a massive effect for our beliefs and things that needed to change. I know I've been going through it a lot, and I mean, all of us have. We just left eclipse season with the eclipses in Scorpio. Massive, well, Scorpio and Taurus. So massive changes, and this is just the beginning of some of these financial changes within our personal lives and within the world, because Venus is going to be going through a lot this month. I mean, we come into this month and Venus starts lightening up. You know, she came into that conjunction with the sun on October 22nd. And ever since then, she's been invisible. So now her light is going to start bestowing in the early evening, and as we come through December, she's going to start getting brighter. So that means that she's going to start bringing more of her harmony, more of her love, and we have Jupiter direct as well in its own sign, mind you, conjunct Neptune. So things are, well, they're real, but maybe not in the way that we have been perceiving, the real way we think. So there again is a lot of changes when it comes to beliefs. This is Jupiter, you know, and this is we're never going to see Jupiter and Neptune this close to conjunction in their ruling home of Pisces ever in our lives. I mean, this is massive, both individually and on the collective. I mean, Neptune is the media. That's one thing it is. And in Pisces, this is overseas. And with this square to Mars, which we're going to get, you know, Mars comes direct on January 12th. And so there's going to be a lot going on within this and the new changes of beliefs and the direction forward. So when we come through the first initial week of December, personally, you know, this is a time for us that, yes, we're probably having a lot of friction that is changing ourselves into new directions, maybe that we didn't see before, because of that pressure from Mars in retrograde in Gemini, which is a house of perception, our perception of reality, communication, and friendships, or, you know, everyday associations and businesses. You know, Gemini, Mars being retrograde here till January 12th, it's in a conjunction to the full moon on the 7th of December. I mean, this is a tricky place for relationships, but I think it's also driving out a lot of poison, you know, in the way we've been thinking, especially with Jupiter and Neptune in that close conjunction and square. Yes, a lot of things may feel tense and have us really thinking about things. I mean, I can relate this personally to my story with chasing the Bagua and the changes that I will speak about at the end of this video. But I mean, we're all going through that type of pressure to evolve us and evolve our beliefs. All we have to do is listen, and that is Jupiter, the ears, Guru, Ganesh. We listen and we can break these barriers, and that is a lot of the truth that we're going to come to realize here in December 2022. I think there's a lot of magic. I mean, there can be a lot of tension too, because Venus squares Neptune exact on the 4th. So we're dealing with Venus and square to Neptune all of the first week or so. And Mercury is going to ingress into Capricorn on the 6th of December. Mercury, which rules Gemini, rules communication and the way we're perceiving our everyday reality. You know, Mercury and Venus moved into Sagittarius mid-November. And so we've been adapting under this mutable energy to what we're going to put into solidarity, right? As we come in to the 6th, to the 7th, the 8th, the 9th. These are going to be big markers, especially as that Gemini full moon is on the 7th. So things are really moving, I would say, into a new direction in our lives, a new reality. I mean, that full moon, that Gemini full moon conjunct Mars retrograde in square to Neptune, like there's a T-square. So there's going to be a lot of pressure. This can be very fanatic and also hyperinflated, and I would say there's going to be an element of loss, especially talked about through the media and in our lives. Yes, I mean, this culmination in 16 degrees of Gemini with Mars retrograde during this full moon. There's a culmination of truth of what we need to change in our realities to have this utmost spiritual understanding and truth as we go forward in our lives. And so even though I think this is going to be a tricky week, this second week of December, you know, I mean, we have a lot going on. I mean, biggest energy in our lives in some ways. The beliefs of the world and the concrete changes that are going to come through probably third week of December are going to be real, you know? So we have Gemini full moon on the 7th. This is in Mrigashira, which is all about the life-sustaining soma, the elixir of immortality. So again, we're identifying this within ourselves. And of course, I'll do a video on this full moon and talk about that more. But we all will be finding this new journey for ourselves, right? Especially as Venus is at the galactic center, and we're, you know, the galactic center, that's where the Milky Way is. So we're going to get Venus there during that full moon as she begins to move into Capricorn, and she's in a square with Jupiter and Neptune. So there's a lot of friction for us with identifying beliefs of our relationships forward, our projects. All this is Venus, but also finances, you know, world finances and other overseas finances. These are all going to be really changed. There's going to be some obscure facts or things that are coming out during that full moon and onwards into, you know, I mean, it's gonna be a big time because Mercury retrogrades conjunct Venus on the 29th. So it's going to be a very massive evolution of change, especially in commerce at those later dates, the end of December into 2023. I mean, coming into 2023, we're going to be under some interesting stuff with finances, I would say. But anyway, Mercury is going to enter shadow on the 12th, right? So things are going to already start getting a little tricky when it comes to commerce, when it comes to media and, you know, all these things going on with social media and the government and all these things. Because remember, Venus and Mercury move into Capricorn in that, you know, around the full moon. And this is a sign of the government. So there's going to be a lot of talk about the financial sector and the way forward with this. And there's going to be a lot of changes talked about, and there's going to be a lot of massive disruptions that could come out around this time. I wouldn't be surprised if there are some type of, you know, social media disruptions, as well as, you know, financial, I don't want to say like Bitcoin, but those kind of currencies, those like cyber currencies, these things, there's a potential for disruption, I would say, for these things around mid-month, 12th, the 15th, and then, you know, we're going to have a lot going on probably in the health industry, I would say, as well. You know, there's a kite formation that we get mid-month as well. So there's going to be a lot of massive disruptions that I think would lead us into stabilizing effects, even though, like, I think that's a lot of this month in a way. It's like, no, we can't control what's going on, but we let go, we release, and we're gonna walk into some of the most beautiful stories and relationships and projects and sparks of our lives that we could ever imagine. So we get the last quarter square on December 16th as well, you know, so this is why I say, like, mid-month, there's going to be a lot going on with commerce and attention to the government, and also what has transpired with the health industry and all this, because that last quarter square, when we get the square, the moon in square to the sun, this is happening at 24 degrees of Virgo, and that is where Mercury came direct on October 2nd. So for ourselves, I think, you know, this is going to be another drawing an effect of our understanding of our reality. I mean, this is also purging as well, because it's in Virgo. But this, because it's in opposition to Jupiter and Neptune, and Jupiter leaves its own sign in 4 days from this, you know, this is a massive time of the biggest realizations of our lives forward, who we're going to associate ourselves with, and how we're really associating ourselves to reality or the internet or these things that we're dealing with on an everyday basis. And this is also going to be a defining moment for markets, and you know, the markets are going to be going through some interesting stuff, especially as we come through mid-December. But all in all, I think this is going to be a brilliant month, even through all and any discord. So we're going to enter the Balsamic Moon phase, which is going to be very magical, I would say. It's on the 19th of December, and this is conjunct the South Node, or K2 as it's known in Vedic astrology, and this is the day before Jupiter moves into Aries. And again, Jupiter is not going to come back to Pisces till the year 2033. So and Neptune won't be there. The amount of understanding that we can get within our, I want to say our sovereignty, because of the connection of spirit, is immense. And this is going to be happening. This is, I would say, a massive wake up revival, call that Balsamic Moon phase, which happens on the 19th. And then Jupiter ingresses into Aries on the 20th of December. And so this last, you know, this last couple week or so of December, the 20th on, I mean, this is big energy because we got the sun at the galactic center in Jupiter's sign. As Jupiter moves into Aries, there is this square pressure, 90-degree angle that's coming from this. So this is going to invoke a lot of change with foreign travel, a lot of change with the health industry, the way forward, these beliefs. This is going to be magical and beyond, and can be very like hyperbolic, weird things, I would say, coming out, you know. But I think at the same time, it's like a beauty of light that is going to be coming out at the end within our lives personally, and then also within the world. There's going to be this lightning effect before we move into Capricorn, before we have the solstice, the winter solstice, which is going to happen on the 21st. We get the sun ingress into Capricorn. This happens at 4:48 p.m. here on the East Coast, with Jupiter in square to the sun. So this is going to be dynamic. This is going to be a solstice like no other. Like I remember 2020, we had Jupiter conjunct Saturn on winter solstice. Now we have Jupiter in square to the sun as it's triggered into Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So the sun's not strong there. And Jupiter's moving out of its place of strength. So, you know, we're going to have to hold on to what we've found in our own inner knowledge. And that is that Jupiter ingress into Aries. I mean, this is going to be a permeating reality for ourselves, how we take this on, the truths that, and how we handle December on a personal level, who we negotiate with, what we believe. And I'm not saying who we believe, what we believe. Like, this is big. This is big. This is defining our lives. And there's going to be so much change, like, through the next couple years, definitely up until 2026, I would say. I mean, like, drastic change. But I also want to say that there is going to be a lot of unique sparks and hope for humanity, especially as we come into February, I would say. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I know that there's going to be a lot of changes that are ushered in, especially how the government is going to be progressing and changing financial systems, especially as we come in to, you know, winter solstice, the 23rd of December, you know, Christmas is on the 25th. You know, these are going to be tough times that we're going to, I don't want to say tough times. These are times of endurance. These are times that build our maturity, because that's Saturn, that's Capricorn. I mean, I'm Capricorn sun, so I know, like, we have to work hard under Saturn. We have to restrict ourselves to get where we're going. And that's going to be that new moon that happens in Mula Nakshatra. 1 degree of Capricorn. So new initiations, I would say, through the government. And for ourselves personally, I think we're breaking through a lot of karma and breaking into new zones, new territories, like, because of our beliefs, because of our recognition of who we are and what we know and where we come from. So this is a big time. And to wrap this up, Mercury does come retrograde here on the 29th. So, yeah, Mercury is going to be in retrograde until the 18th of January. And on the 29th, it's in conjunction to Venus at 24 degrees. So is interesting, right? You know, last quarter square we get on the 16th at 24 degrees of Virgo, which is all this health. You know, I think by the 16th, there's going to be some big things coming out in the health industry, what's been going on with health. And this is going to open up some new way of administration around the end of December and as we come into 2023, like this is going to be huge for ourselves as well. Like we're breaking bounds and becoming a new container for the divine. That's, I mean, if we're not identifying ourselves within that, it can be hard, you know? And I think that's what we've gotten this download over the past few months. I mean, if we look at Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter, like I said, this is some of the biggest transits that are happening. And with Mars in retrograde and square to it, this is defining our action in the here and now, how we deal with things. And does it come from this, you know, spiritual divine union? And I don't mean that, you know, everybody has to have sadhana and do their daily devotional bhakti practice. I'm not saying that. Everybody, I mean, maybe you find your practice through gardening. Maybe you find it through feeding your family. This is bhakti. This is service, you know? And so I think we're all within this time of the Leo new moon. If we, you know, take it back to the end of July, when Jupiter actually retrograded in a good aspect to when the sun was exalted, we all had this conscious awareness of who we really are. And this is what we need to carry on. We need to know, we need to recognize, and not in this egotistical sense, which is Aries, right? Aries is the ego. So Jupiter is going to return to this place of the ego on the 20th, you know, and I think this can create a lot of weird energies with people. So we have to discern ourselves and kind of bring it down a notch just to know who we are. And it's not about the inflation. I mean, there may be inflation in this outer world, but let's take it in and let's be the light that permeates and pervades and holds and gathers the strength with each other and our direction towards the future. And speaking of the future, I mean, like we all exited Scorpio season, and then I'm a Sag rising, so all this energy is in my first house, and I mean, we're all going through it. Doesn't matter what your own natal chart is, it's just how we're feeling it in our own personal natal chart. But, you know, I've been working away on, you know, doing daily content, and honestly, you know, Spotify just came out with the creator, the 2022 creator, your little stats that you had. And I did almost 40 hours just on the daily horoscopes. That's not including YouTube. That's not including Instagram or readings or whatever else. I may be leaving something else out, but I mean, that's just 40 hours in the year alone just on the dailies. So I myself, I didn't really think about it, but these analytics came out and I was like, wow, you know. So what happened with me is like I've been putting all this output out and also spinning my tires in the social media sector because it seems almost, I don't want to say impossible to grow, but that's also not my point at this. I didn't realize that, right? I didn't, these beliefs are changing within all of us, right? So for me, it's like the bigger belief of why I do this and the people that make this happen, the community that I am creating, that we are co-creating. And that's what Chasing the Bhagwan is. And actually, if you look at the hexagram, which is my logo, if you go to the website, it is household 37. It is wind over fire. This is how you govern from. And so even that I kind of forgot about, but here it is coming in a whole holistic picture. And so all that being said, now the dailies are going to be moved to a subscription base on the website. So it's $7 for a subscription, and everybody that subscribes now to this basic $7 subscription, they're going to get ushered in under the founding members, right? So you're going to gain access to things that are going to cost in the future. And I plan to have more people on here. So I can't say for other people's work, but definitely for my work, I would say my founding members are going to have access to more than just these dailies. And you're going to have to bear with me because there's only so much I can do, and I have to get this set up. But it is already underway, and I'm going to start showing it in the Instagram reels and things. You know, it's starting, I mean, it just started, but it looks beautiful in the concept. And so I want it to be a community for people, a safe space of light. And I have so much that I'm thinking about, and that's what I needed to do instead of spinning my tires, creating content. I needed a reason to direct my creativity, and this is what I needed. So I want to thank each and all of you, my subscribers, and just this community. I want us to grow. I also want to offer like a community board in the future and have other people able to, you know, be featured once a month for maybe their music, or if you're a yoga teacher, or if you're an astrologer or a tarot card reader. You know, I want to have collaborations, cooperation on this platform. So also, you know, people can get seen with their work from a conscious community. So help us build this Chasing the Bagua. It's a $7 subscription. So if you do subscribe from now until February, I'm going to usher you in under the umbrella, because if you do subscribe to me right now, or subscribe to the Chasing the Bagua, the monthly, there's not going to be much up there. I might be able to get monthly tarot up there before, but just know that by January, there is going to be rolling that daily content. I just don't want to start it prematurely. So bear with me through this. And of course, if you do want to hold off until January 2023, which I'll have that more updates on what it's going to be by then, but you'll still get ushered in under that umbrella until February 2023. So this is, you know, about growing us all, and being, you know, a container of light and consciousness. And I appreciate all your support, each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I really, truly adore you. So, yeah, I have a lot. Well, I have that I'm working on. I'll be on Instagram a lot. The podcast, I might jump on there, and I might make something out of the podcast at some point, but there is definitely places to go, and I will see you soon.